Hey, what's up? It's Jaylee. Come join me and organize with me. Fun. Today we are going to organize my colors. Most of them are Prismacolors, and they are very tedious, and I have a lot of them. I moved to my new home slash art studio about 6 months ago, and I'm finally getting around to organizing these because once they go in a box, it's gonna be a minute till they come out, especially since they're not my medium of choice. But they are really handy and really nicely used. I've had some of these since junior high, if I'm being honest, but they last a long time if you don't use them that often, I guess. That makes sense, right? So here we go. I went ahead and set up a large space. I want to say by the end of everything being organized, this was at least 4 feet long, maybe 3.5 at the smallest, but it grows. There's a lot in there. I had to learn my color wheel all over again. I know it, but whenever you're under a camera, you feel the pressure to make sure you know what you're doing. If you haven't used Prismacolor before, a couple things about them is that they blend really well. So if you're trying to make colors look realistic, these Prismacolors are a good way to go because the wax on them make it easier for you to mix it while it's on paper, and it makes a really nice color. Now that said, it would be a good idea to know a little bit about color theory so you know which colors to use. So like for if I was drawing a self-portrait, I wouldn't use just tan or brown and white together. I would add in a light hint of green for my olivey skin tone. I would add in peaches and a different color of reddish brown for the shadows, right? So it's just good to know a little bit about color theory when using Prismacolors. Definitely some of these have seen the better day of light because they have been used and abused and they've gone from junior high to high school to who knows how many times I've moved since then. But they're my little go tos for whenever I just want to doodle and have fun. The reason why they blend so well is because the wax that's in these pencils, they it's really sensitive wax. Whenever you're coloring on a page, a couple things, you need them to be sharp. You don't want a dull pencil to color with because whenever you brush that pencil on the paper, if you go fast and if they're dull, you'll really see where in the paper it's not making contact with, and it'll just look sloppy and it won't blend that well. So you need them to be sharpened all the time. And that leads to my least favorite thing about Prismacolors is that when it's time to sharpen them, if they're not at a good temperature, like heat wise, there's a good chance that the wax is just going to keep breaking every time you sharpen them. I remember whenever I was introduced to Prismacolors in junior high, my teacher at the time would have all of her Prismacolors laid out by the window at all times. And even then, whenever we went to sharpen them, she would tell us that we need to like roll them in our hands to heat them up, just so this way we can try to heat that wax up inside of the pencil so it doesn't keep breaking. And that's something that has stuck with me through and through. And it works really well. But I will tell you, on the days that I forget, they just keep breaking. And it's really tedious. That's my least favorite thing. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's just a lot of making sure you're doing the right thing over and over for these pencils. They're high maintenance for sure, but whenever you get it right and whenever you get the color theory right, the realism in the photos, it's beautiful. The colors that you can make with Prismacolors, it's like magic. It's like you're painting with pencils, only better. And sometimes it can look like a photograph, a colored photograph. What I do like about them is that, of course, they're long lasting for me because I don't use them all the time. So it's a nice investment. I haven't had to buy Prismacolors in a very long time. I like to use them with my watercolor pictures. So I'll start off painting with watercolor, and then whenever it's time to add the sharper details that I can't get done with my watercolor paints, I'll come in with a Prismacolor pencil at the end and I'll define those colors, and um, I'll make the picture really pop with my Prismacolors. I'm having to roll out the pencils because I'm running out of space. There's so many of them and I still have more to go. So at this point, it's like if I push one pencil in, another one pops out. So I'm having to constantly make sure there's enough space, which is awesome. I'm really happy with my collection of pencils. The colors I use the least when it's time for Prismacolors are the black pencils. Anytime you mix black with anything, it just really takes over the color you're working with. So if I have the most color of any color from Prismacolors, it would be black, because every time I did buy a pack of colors, of course, a black would come with it. So they just keep adding up and adding up and adding up. The colors I use most with Prismacolors, I think, would be like the greens and yellows and pinks. It's really interesting seeing my color palette laid out because you can see what I use least of and what I use most of. It looks like I don't have a lot of purple, which is really interesting because whenever I was organizing my paints, the same thing. I didn't have a lot of purple. I mean, I can make purple with blue and red, but I don't use purple a lot, and I find that interesting. It's like learning about yourself. Something I plan to do this year, which is an important step, is to take some type of art class, whether it be at college or with one of the artists here who have the studios in downtown, and just become a student. I think it's essential for not only being a student and constantly learning your trade, but to have a teacher, because teachers have a way of giving you constructive criticism that you know is going to be helpful. And they help you see things from a different perspective, and they help you see through flaws that could get better. Not that you can't like ask your family and friends, but they don't have the artist eye. They don't have the qualities and techniques that it would take to make the right color or the right texture or imagine what you're trying to go for. Look at those. Oh, wait, one more. Another black. Look, it all fits. I should have measured how long this is. I definitely meant to upload this video last week, but oh my gosh, the technical difficulties were a headache. So I redid the sorting today, but this was last week's finale, if you will. I hope it was satisfying for you to watch this, be organized, and I hope it was good to hear some of my thoughts on Prismacolors and the pros and cons. Next week, I will be doing a drawing with watercolor and Prismacolor tutorial. So stay tuned for that. This is just preparation for what's to come. I hope you guys will subscribe to my channel. Comment any questions. What's your favorite color? Have you used Prismacolors? Let me know about my viewers. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.